Look what I found. Zombie takeout.
It's a magical day.
What's up? Welcome to episode 337 of Zombie Takeout.
Zombie takeout.
The B-Movie and Cult Movie Podcast. I'm Uncle John.
And I'm Scotto.
And before we get to this week's movie, we've got some listener submitted. This is from Bodo Winter on Twitter. In reference to last week's movie, Beastmaster, he said, "It's a real bear." The bear that attacks early in the film.
Oh, yeah.
The kid attacks the kid from Parker Lewis Can't Lose. He also said, "Zombie fruit vampire bats?" For the things that kind of save the day at the end that he makes the deal with.
I have no idea. I still don't know what the fuck that was we saw.
I kind of like Bodo's description.
And you know what? I forgot to call out the earworms that Wrath of Khan was the same year, I believe.
Oh,
and
okay.
Yet they both used
the
earworms going into the
Yeah. He also said, "I believe the puma was a tiger dyed black."
Yeah,
Wouldn't surprise me.
That sounds about right.
And finally, he said, "Was the tiger useless? I thought so." Did the tiger do anything after it was introduced?
I'm trying to remember if that's what went on the rampage at the end.
Oh, possibly. Yeah, it makes sense because all he had other than that was the ferrets, and they can't really rampage, and the bird. So yeah, I guess the tiger did come in at the end, but it really didn't do much.
And actually, it was the berserker or whatever that just smashed the door down. It was the tiger was supposed to get the key for him, and instead, that was probably one of the funniest parts of the movie, intentionally so, that the tiger went in, and instead the berserker just knocked the door down and burrowed a hole through the whole dungeon.
And Bodo also asked if this week's movie was on YouTube. And so I sent him a link. It is. So I sent him the link. And he said, "Thanks. Wait, maybe not so much." And Danny Meeks commented on the trailer for this week's movie on Google+. He said, "If this is your first introduction to Neil Breen, you are in for a fucking treat."
Oh, man. Why? I got to call out our listeners here. Why haven't you brought this to our attention?
Yeah, Danny,
sooner?
if you knew about Neil Breen before we
Christ.
did, I mean, I've honestly known about him for a while. It's taken us a while to get to this, because this year we were plugging in a lot of stuff. I probably found him
seeing something
late last year.
Something on the soup about him.
Okay.
Like, just a brief scene. Like, what the fuck was that even? I didn't even understand what it was.
Right.
I didn't know it was a whole movie.
And just before we get to the fucking treat, Danny also commented on the first episode of the John and Scotto show, which we recorded last week. We're going to get into this now because the next episode isn't going to be till February. He said, "Not bad for your first episode." To John, "I would definitely recommend finishing watching Enterprise. Every Star Trek series has kind of a rough first season, but Enterprise really picks up later. So much so that I would say the third season, with the Xindi arc, I'm going to guess that's pronunciation, is one of my favorite seasons of any sci-fi show."
Yeah, there's a lot of people that hate it because it was they pretty much did 9/11 on Star Trek.
Okay.
Much. But, and it just, was this whole multiple galaxy war and stuff. But you know what? It was pretty damn cool in the end.
He went on, also, DS9 is great as well. I have seen some of DS9. I know that was awesome. Definitely recommend you check that out. Jury's still out for me on Discovery, but I'm giving it time to develop, so we'll see. Now, I have been keeping up with Discovery. I've watched episodes 3 and 4. And by the way, there are only 6 episodes in this first season.
Wow, what?
There are only 6 episodes in the first season, so in 2 weeks, you can do the whole free trial marathon thing.
They're charging how much a month for 6 episodes?
Well, I mean, you could probably get through them. Well, you'd have to pay for 2 months, actually, to get through 6 weeks or 5 weeks, because the
That's
first two were in the
crazy.
same night.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely bonkers.
So yeah, do the well. It's first off, it is absolutely not worth $7 a month.
No.
If you're just getting all access for Star Trek, definitely not
Fuck.
worth it.
They rerun The Big Bang Theory on every goddamn channel out there anyway.
Mhm.
You can see it for free.
Now, Danny has a good point about Star Trek series having weak first seasons. So we'll see how this develops. The war angle is only going to be in the first season, from what I understand.
Okay.
Um,
Which is kind of odd because usually it develops into a war, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. DS9 kind of took their time getting to the war.
Yeah.
It's kind of Star Trek edgelord, Star Trek emo. It's an anti-hero in a war, and this evil captain, and it just doesn't feel like Star Trek in a lot of ways. I think if they took away the Star Trek branding, it would be a lot better, or it would be more satisfying.
But, it's like, the Pink Floyd label.
Yeah, true.
Are you going to make a David Gilmour solo record?
Uh-huh.
Or are you going to make a Pink Floyd album?
Right. Um, it would be really good if it was just some random syndicated sci-fi show. It's not quite on par with Star Trek, but it's better than, say, Andromeda or almost said Battlefield Earth, Earth Final Conflict, the other Roddenberry series.
Yeah, I couldn't get into that one either.
I kind of liked it. It's definitely worth the free trial thing that you had recommended, or other means, shall we say?
And Andromeda, I mean, if it was on, I didn't shut it off exactly,
Mhm.
but it wasn't like, oh, when's Andromeda going to be on next?
Right, yeah. I think I did look for it. I didn't know the schedule, but if I missed an episode, okay.
It was kind of like Comics Unleashed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's on now?
Mhm.
Well, I guess I'll sit and watch that.
Now, before we started recording, you had asked me how it compared to Voyager.
Yes.
I actually liked Voyager. I know I'm very that's a very controversial opinion.
You're not alone, but I mean, it's just, I think I made it through maybe 6 episodes of Voyager,
Mhm.
and barely that. I really tried to get into it again when with Netflix,
Uh-huh.
to binge on it. Mrs. Scotto fell asleep in the first episode, and I was just kind of like, oh no, I can't do this.
I think Voyager is definitely in line with Danny's comments about first seasons. It is a weak first season. It does pick up, especially when they bring Seven of Nine in. Her storyline is really interesting,
Yeah.
and not just for the cat suit.
Let's just say I've almost made it through as many episodes of The Orville as I have Voyager. And I mean, it's watchable. And where I don't think Voyager really was. You know what the problem with Voyager was? It was just too soap opera-ish. I mean, Next Generation kind of, moved to the soap opera side, which suits Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have the same over-the-top cheesiness from the 60s now. But yeah, Voyager was just too where they're gossiping about each other and stuff. It was just no.
But consider how bad Next Gen's first season was.
Yeah, but that was the first Star Trek show in like 20 years.
Well, yeah, but it was a horrible first season.
So, I mean, anything we got, we were grateful for.
And I mean, Next Gen is probably my favorite of all the Star Trek series, or at least the one I'm most nostalgic for. But that first season was pitiful.
Oh, yeah.
And I won't say that Voyager is on that par at all, but it does get a lot better after the first season.
Comparably speaking, the first season to the rest of it was bad. But I mean, yeah, when it was first running, we were just like, holy shit, they're really doing this. They're giving us a show in space. It was really exciting.
True. And to answer your question, I think Discovery is better than Voyager.
All right. But 6 episodes is not enough to tell a story.
No, that's true. I think they're just doing a test at this point. They're testing the waters, which is why it's such a short season.
Star Trek. Then you're right. They should not have made it Star Trek because what's the point?
Right. And with regard to bad first seasons, and I kind of hate saying this because it is a commitment, but I think this applies to a lot of Star Trek as well. Babylon 5. Did you ever watch that?
I couldn't get into that one either.
The first season is hideous, but the rest of it is brilliant. Muddle through the first season and you will be rewarded. And I think that's the same, and again, not on the same level, but with Voyager, and certainly the case with Next Gen. I'm hoping that it's the case with Voyager. Their first season is certainly better than Next Gen or Voyager, or I think a lot of Star Trek shows, with the possible exception of DS9. I think DS9 had a pretty strong opening.
Yeah, DS9 was just great all the way through, I think. I
Yeah.
mean, I think they were a little rough around the edges in the first season. Kira was a little, yarish, I should say.
Mhm.
But I guess that's how they all start out.
Yeah. And I think once the war is over on Discovery, they might lose the whole trying to be edgy thing, which is kind of annoying. Really, my only gripe about it.
It doesn't make any sense, really. This whole thing hasn't.
Anyway, on to this week's movie, which is from 2012, Fatal Findings. Of course, I'm sorry, Fateful Findings. I keep saying fatal for some reason.
Yeah, Fateful Findings.
Fateful Findings. And of course, that brings us to the impromptu plot summary, sponsored by Schadenfreude. There's no better way to describe the experience of watching this movie than Schadenfreude.
And also brought to you by fake keyboard tapping. We can see that's not on, right?
Kind of like fake crowd sounds when there are like 7 people at the party.
or a crowd watching a speech.
Yes.
Stephen Colbert does a bit with that where he's like fake keyboard searching for something. And maybe he watched this movie and that's where he got the idea for the bit from, because it is just so obvious.
I don't think his computers are ever on in the movie.
No, his computers are not on. They are blank screens, and he's just pounding away randomly at the keys, not spelling any words. But anyway, or he's hacking into things.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we have 2 children. They're playing. It's a magical day. They discover a mushroom that turns into a hidden treasure.
And I think the fact that it's a mushroom could explain a lot about the movie.
Oh, yeah. And they say they have to leave something in there. I'm not sure what exactly they left, but they took the treasures with them.
They found this black stone and left some beads behind.
It's fucking crystals.
It is.
So she makes like a friendship bracelet out of the beads that look like Lucky Charms or Flintstones vitamins. Who knows what the fuck is this thing? And he takes like this black crystal that he just takes, and I'm not sure what the hell they left inside. And then abruptly she has to move away, and he never sees her again. Wow. Or does he? They then skip ahead to when he is older and looks like Garry Shandling.
And looks a hell of a lot older than she does when she inevitably shows up again.
Right.
Because she's maybe 30, he's pushing 50.
I mean, this entire movie, all I kept thinking was, this is the theme to Garry Show. The theme to Garry Show.
Yeah, they do look a lot alike.
And or as I put in my notes, 2 minutes, 20 seconds, they found something. The end. So what we have, he has a girlfriend who is into the pills. Oh, she has to stop taking the pills. His friend and neighbor and their girl, they were married. They're in a bad relationship too, and they have a stepdaughter. Everybody, of course, wants to bang Garry Shandling.
Yeah, she inexplicably, the stepdaughter, who's like 16, inexplicably is trying to fuck Shandling. Dylan is the character's name.
Yes, Dylan. And if you don't miss his name, he'll tell you at least another 20 times before the movie's over, including coming up to his girlfriend going, "It's Dylan." Because, why would his girlfriend recognize him by voice? But anyway, So yes, there are all of these personal relationship problems that really mean jack shit in
Hmm.
the whole plot, because really the plot is about him hacking into corporate and government things.
Secrets that are very secret.
Secretive secrets that are very secret. and, and he's going to reveal these things that no one has ever heard before. And he's a writer who they keep bothering for his next book because he's a very successful writer,
Hmm.
and I'm not doing that anymore. And he keeps saying nobody knows that he's going to do this thing about the hacking, yet he's told everybody.
Yeah.
There's a single fucking person he has not told in this movie that he's doing this. And they even had something where his girlfriend, his first girlfriend, um, is telling somebody else that what he's doing on the phone, but don't concern yourself with that because he's on it. He has these magic powers.
Yeah, suddenly he has superpowers in the middle of the movie.
Right. Well, it kind of looks like he does a little bit here and there. Well, it begins when he's an adult. He gets hit by a car,
Hmm.
and he should be dead or at least recouping.
Hmm.
But instead, he just regenerates, I guess, and heals and goes back home from the hospital. And of course, the nurse or the doctor that just happened to look in on him
Hmm.
was that same girl from the
Yes.
first scene, and who still
Grown up,
wears
of
the
course.
shitty bracelet on her hand.
Mhm.
And of course, she does not have magical powers because she is not the Messiah.
Because she didn't keep the rock.
Yeah.
Or the crystal, whatever.
Well, the bracelet just is not as important
Right.
as the crystal.
Mhm.
It's always the crystal. Remember that. So he of course he completes his hacking. His girlfriend, well, his friend looks like a suicide but isn't. His wife shoots him, stages it like a suicide, and he's upset that he would have killed himself.
Mhm.
He very convincingly tells the stepdaughter not to fuck him. And his girlfriend does commit suicide.
Yes.
By those pills. And he gets, of course, back together with his childhood girlfriend.
And then she gets kidnapped.
She gets kidnapped, but he is...
he's a superhero now, so he can rescue her easily.
Yeah, and he completes his hacking work. And what has to be... Oh, man. The batshit craziest few minutes in film that you will ever see.
Oh, I think that accounts for most of the movie.
The climax of this film...
yeah, the ending is pretty priceless.
It's just batshit crazy. I don't even know.
He has a press conference.
Right. I guess we have to describe it. You won't believe what we're going to say. Well, let's see. He has this very realistic press conference that is obviously in front of a crowd of people and not a green screen of the Supreme Court.
And was it Supreme Court in the background, right?
Why he would make the speech there, I don't know. And as he's talking about each institution that he has hacked and the truths that he's revealed, they then cut in with a person from that institution who just has to resign.
and not just resign.
Not just resign, they kill themselves. And hilarity ensues.
Yeah. Pretty much from go. The very beginning, the opening shot reminds me so much of like an overdramatic 80s TV movie.
Of course.
It's this melancholy piano music and the shot of this skyscraper. And then they show the storage space that just reminds me of Primer.
That was my learned.
Which is sad. Because it's a completely different... Well...
Welcome to different learned.
Actually, Neil Breen is kind of the anti-Shane. Or kind
Of
of,
course.
not the anti-Shane, but kind of Shane's incompetent twin. Because he directed, wrote, produced, edited, starred in the film, was also in charge of production design, set decoration, makeup, sound editing, catering, and casting. And I think the kids would have been better if they just improv their own dialogue. Because he took kid actors and made them worse.
The kids were Olivier compared to
Well,
the
true.
adults.
But
Are you kidding me?
I just couldn't get over, the stealth of dialogue and the way he gestured, the kid gestures at the mushroom for a good 5 seconds before anything happens.
And right off the bat, you can tell this film is going to be an abomination just from the way it's edited. That he could give a fuck less if things were consistent,
Yeah.
if they were lined up, if they, made any sense when you see one image to the next.
Mhm.
He just had his shots that he wanted to get in, and if things didn't make sense spatially,
There's a scene where he's talking to his shrink, and it cuts away to a scene where he's walking up the stairs, and you can still hear the shrink. And okay, I figured, they're fading from that scene into another. But then they cut back to him talking to the shrink.
But no, you can tell, like, in those scenes with the kids, that just the editing makes no sense.
No.
And it consistently plays throughout the movie that these are seeds just spliced together without any care or concern if they actually line up. And I've never seen that in a film before. And I've seen student films.
Oh, yeah. And the extras in the film seem to be better actors than the leads. Leah's parents, early on, probably the best actors in the movie. They've got, like, one short scene. Some of the extras, or not extras, but, like, one-line characters who see him get hit by the car. Decent acting, unlike everybody else in the movie. And the scene where he gets hit, it looks okay until you frame by frame it. Because slowed it down.
Frame by frame it.
And he's kind of, crouching when he gets hit by the car. Right. And his body moves with the car. It doesn't fall, Basically, they just took a plate of him on the road, bending over, or, leaning down to pick up, his phone he dropped. And then the car, and they just took that frame of him, and moved him with the car.
I mean, if they'd I was expecting them to come back to him getting hit by the car.
Mm.
Like that was some relevant point to the plot. And instead, it meant nothing. It meant absolutely nothing.
And where were the cops when he got hit? The ambulance shows up, but no cops.
The only point of him getting hit was to send him to the hospital so he could meet the doctor. And they don't even meet. No.
She finds out that she discovers that he was missing.
Right. It doesn't make any sense.
And when he's in the hospital, he has possibly the only accurate hospital gown I've ever seen in a movie.
Well, right. Yeah, of course. When you got it, Garry Shandling, you gotta flaunt it.
And what was with the awkward sex scenes? And I say all kind of sex scenes, pseudo sex scenes, because they just kiss and kind of rip at each other's clothes, or in one scene, or they kind of dance in the shower in another scene. I
think what sums up the entire movie is that climax at the end with the speech, and it was all clear to me that this movie had to have been written by a 9-year-old.
There's a webcomic called Axe Cop. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's written by a kid who's like 8 years old or something, and drawn by his older brother, who's actually a decent artist.
Okay.
So the storyline is what a kid would come up with. It's a cop and dinosaurs, and the cop has an axe, and it's all that kind of shit. That's the mentality of this movie.
Oh, definitely. I mean, just talking about secretive secrets and all that stuff, and just, he's got superpowers, and I mean, this movie had to have been written by one of his kids or something.
Last week I said that this makes The Room look professional. Having watched it in full now, it makes The Room look like the fucking Godfather.
I think it makes Bad Ben look like the Godfather.
Yes, okay, that's better, yes.
I say it makes The Room look like Godfather Part 3, maybe.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with that. And he changed his mind about the pills pretty quickly. He
Well,
says he needs his pills, so his wife brings him his pills, and then he decides he's going to kick the pills and flushes them.
the other element of this film that makes it the superlative that it is, the sound editing.
Uh-huh.
Or well, I guess you wouldn't say editing, just the recording, the sound
Yes.
recording. He can have a scene with several different people. The worst was when they were all around when they were having dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
Each person had different background noise behind
Yeah.
them as they were talking, and not like just subtle differences. Like one guy had like this loud fan behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay for us to have different noises behind us because we're across the country.
Right.
We've made no bones about this
Right,
that
yeah.
we're not in the same room or anything. These guys are supposed to be at the same table, but you can just hear they're recording in different,
Uh-huh.
maybe even different zip codes. Who knows?
And that dinner party scene made no sense.
No, it did not.
The dialogue didn't track at all.
I could not get past that, and it goes throughout the movie though. This different noises and stuff for different people's dialogue.
Uh-huh. And in the backyard barbecue scene, there were these massive crowd sounds. Not massive, but there was like a healthy crowd sound, and like
It's
7
the doctor
people
from
there.
the hospital.
Yeah.
I asked if the doctor from the hospital, quote unquote, is engaged to the man from scene 24.
Like The Room, it left me wondering if it was intentionally bad. Because I can't believe anybody could write this way earnestly.
It's a tough one. It really is.
Like midway through the movie, he suddenly announces he's hacking the government. Not a word of that beforehand.
Right. I think he was saying something to his girlfriend about doing it. But then, like, he doesn't spell it out, and then it's just, no, I'm not writing a book. I'm hacking the government. And I was like, if you were hacking and doing all this, well, why didn't you just write a book about what you found? Why wouldn't that be your book?
And I loved the scene when he was talking to his girlfriend about having to get off the pills. It felt like a casting director reading to an auditioning actress. His delivery was so monotonous.
Well, we can say the cast had some bad actors in it.
Mm-hmm.
But Neil Breen, of course,
topped it.
Is the worst.
Yes.
I mean, he's the absolute worst actor you are ever going to see in a film. Hands down. Nobody comes close.
And according to IMDb, Breen was an uncredited Voguer in Madonna's Vogue video. I didn't have a chance to look that up. I need to watch that video to see if he's in there.
There's Garry Shandling in the back. Hey, I'm voguing.
And an uncredited policeman in Scream, which I can believe, but the Vogue part. And possibly my favorite bit of trivia on IMDb. Someone wrote that Neil Breen has the power to give people aneurysms with his super glowing hands.
But but his idea of conveying emotion is just to repeat what he said again multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
His idea of conveying emotion is to repeat what he said, a couple times.
Yeah.
The idea of conveying emotion is just to repeat what he said, the same thing, a few times.
And what the hell was with the black tarp set? Every once in a while you see him in this room with this big book that apparently was connected to the crystal, and the walls are just lined with these black tarps. It was kind of like Under the Skin, the Aronofsky film with ScarJo as the alien, when she went into this black room with this water in it. Looked like they were going for that, but it was just black tarps on a wall, and no aliens. Like you expect aliens to show up in a scene like that.
Well, right. The whole thing with shoes and everything was anytime there was somebody wandering around, they just showed their shoes for the whole thing, and that was it. And you're expecting, okay, they'll show who's walking around. No, they don't. The person will just disappear, or you just never see it.
All I know is I want to pay Joel Hodgson to Misty this. To riff on this in the next season of Misty 3K.
How have they not done one of these yet?
I want to know what the rights cost. I'll buy them for them because they can't be expensive.
They did get approved for another season, so
Well, not yet, but I'm sure they will.
I'm surprised they haven't.
Mm.
But this has to be done.
Oh yeah.
I was like, cancel all of our other movies and let's just do the rest of his.
Well, I think what we should do is kind of take this like we took the Star Trek movies, and instead of just marathon them, because marathoning them would be too much. I don't think we could handle that.
Probably after like 4 or 5. I think that's how many there are.
There are 4.
There are 4.
So there'd be 3
There's
more.
A 5th one that's going to be coming out soon. I think.
I don't think we could handle that.
We'd probably be looking for them.
Yeah, I think we need to space them out.
All right. Goals for 2018.
And just the whole press conference scene. We talked about it earlier, but
it's amazing.
I mean, the ending isn't wrong. His point I agree with, but the way he went about it was just insane. And did you read the credits?
A little, yeah.
Apparently, there were a list of fake companies. There's a little acknowledgement after most of the credits. It says any company with an N or a B in their name is actually Neil Breen.
Because he didn't just want his name repeated over and over again in the credits.
I guess. But, so he put in the fake companies and then admitted to the fake companies and told you how to figure out exactly which ones were fake.
But right, the climax, just that speech and just, magically solving everything. And who shot the assassin?
They didn't establish that.
They didn't say.
I kind of half expected it to be the girlfriend or the childhood girlfriend because she was still alive. But no, they never established. Maybe Neil somehow did it, or Dylan somehow did it while he was talking. He had a gun somewhere that he had a foot pedal on. I don't know. Or it was some superpower that just suddenly happened.
There's so many weird things that just were just thrown out there and never really explained. Like the guy that when he had the reflection in the mirror and it just stayed there after he left.
Or when the shrink is on the phone with his wife and there's an echo on the shrink side.
Well, that's just the sound editing.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense. Sequels and remakes?
Sequels and remakes.
No sequels. I don't think there's gonna. Well, I don't think there can be a sequel because he revealed all the government secrets.
All the secretive secrets.
And
the truthful truths.
And nobody should ever remake this.
I would love to see this remade.
Really?
With Gilbert Gottfried as Dylan.
Oh God, yes.
Just a group of comedians,
Yeah, true.
Like Gilbert Gottfried, Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. If Judy Tenuta is still around, cast her as the first wife. The one who kills himself.
Definitely.
And like I said, he has 3 other movies. Pass Through, I Am Here Now. There's an ellipse. And Double Down. We have to review all of them, and I've skimmed them. They're all this bad.
Oh, I imagine he's incapable of doing anything else.
Yeah. At least Tommy Wiseau stopped at 1.
From what I understand, this is just a hobby of his, kind of.
Well, yeah, I don't think he's making a living at this, but
he makes money from another job and puts it all into doing this, and he doesn't make out with the women, but close enough, I guess, for him. And
one of my perspective titles was Dear Mr. Power Fantasy. That's what the movie is. It's all a big power fantasy.
Oh, of course.
And I have a feeling that the others will be as well. On the Brains?
On the Brains.
You have to see this. In 8 years of doing this podcast, in 45 years of being probably more like 30 years of being a big B-movie fan, a hardcore trauma fan, I have never seen something this ridiculously and hilariously bad. I have to go 5.
You're right. He does go trauma, with like the violence and stuff in it too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's literally something for everyone in
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
You will laugh your ass off. 5 frames, no doubt.
It's the perfect bad movie.
It is. It is. It's jaw-droppingly perfect.
And for the record, I checked, we gave The Room a 4 and a 4.5.
Yeah.
So this is that much more entertaining than The Room.
I mean, never have I seen a movie fail on so many levels. There were levels I didn't think a movie could even fail on, that this movie failed on. It's amazing.
I have said before that, a movie fails on every level. Not true. This is the only one that really fails on every level.
Wiseau could keep the sound consistent.
Yeah.
He kept the camera mostly in focus.
His shots weren't bad.
And he was a better actor.
Yeah.
In fact, he's better than some of the actors in this film. He's even better
than most of the cast, I think, yes. Except some of the extras could out. Well, I'm saying extras, but like people with one line, they could outact Wiseau, but that's about it.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, so what have we learned?
We're not supposed to make fun of the R word, but when he makes a vanity piece.
And I learned that I've never fully understood the true meaning of so bad it's good until today.
Wow. I'll watch this again right now if I didn't have to go to sleep right away.
All right, so until next week when we'll be reviewing Escape from Tomorrow. We're switching things around. It was going to be Prometheus, but we're switching it to Escape from Tomorrow because next week we are also recording the test episode for The Hearing, our music review show, and Prometheus is going to run long.
You think
it's a Ridley Scott movie in the Alien universe. We're going to have a lot to say about that one.
Yeah.
All right, so until then, go to zombietakeout.com, check out the album art, the episode description, of course, the episode itself, which you're already listening to. Links to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and YouTube, as well as links to subscribe via RSS and iTunes. Please leave us a rating or review on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And, of course, if you enjoy the show, spread the word. Give us a little word of mouth. We appreciate all the listeners we have, but more would be better. You also find the movie list, every movie we've reviewed so far, and every movie we're going to review, up through the science fiction double feature, The Day the Earth Stood Still, and Forbidden Planet. Yes, I still have to take a second to think of the song. And, of course, the recommendations list. I had skimmed through this movie months ago when I first found it. I think I was looking on YouTube for bad movies and happened upon this one. I knew it was a 5 from me, and I had no doubt it was going to be a 5 from you.
Yeah.
Zombie Takeout was made for movies like this.
Definitely. This I only wish I'd found about this sooner.
I think this is our 6th double 5.
Oh yeah?
And
this year?
Yeah, this year. And as much as I love Paris, Texas and Martin and 84, this might take it.
This might take it, yeah.
You can email us at zombietakeout@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 414-368-CT01 or for the alphanumerically challenged.
You can go fuck yourself. You can go fuck yourself. You can go fuck yourself.
414-368-9661. Of course, always remember that you'll always be calling from the middle of Milwaukee. And until next time, always remember, never forget, wherever you go in life, there you are.
Leave me alone. I've got work to do.
It's a magical day.
What's up? Welcome to... I knew that was coming. It still made me laugh.